Hey there, welcome back to Owl Dragon Adventures. I'm Scott Kegler.
And I'm Rob McPherson.
And this is our first reactions to the Legacy of Isla Nublar
by Funko Games and Prospero Hall. So, Jurassic World Legacy of Isla Nublar is a brand new Kickstarter that just came out. It launched beginning of this year. They actually shipped 3 months earlier than they were planning on, so major props to that. It was about $120 if I'm remembering correctly. I have a Kickstarter problem and I don't always remember what I pay for things. So it's a campaign-style legacy game where you just, you have envelopes to open, which I love, and little tuck boxes to open, and yeah, so that's the style of game it is. It is a firefighting game, kind of like Pandemic or Spirit Island, where there's the crises of the dinosaurs kind of ravaging the island that you're always trying to temper. So that's the style of game it is. So we're just going to do our first reactions today. Disclaimer, we've only played the prologue, so we know enough to know what the gameplay style is, what the game itself is. We can't speak to the legacy of it. We can't speak to the campaign of it and the storyline of it. We're just going to talk about the game, like the game as a game right now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's just dive right into gameplay. And
so my first thoughts on gameplay is those 3 months that they were early, they should have spent those longer on playtesting.
I agree completely.
So
in firefighting games, I mean, if you watch this channel at all, we're not huge into firefighting games. So I'm going to be as fair as I can, keeping that in mind. But one of the biggest things about firefighting games is you have to make action economy your number one priority when it comes to...
And the balance of action economy.
Balancing. Yeah, that's what I mean. You've got to make sure that balance is perfect, because otherwise you get the Legacy of Isla Nublar.
Yeah, and it's very easy to say like games like, and I know you've gotten ragged for it, I've gotten ragged for it. Like, I don't really care for Spirit Island very much, for similar issues.
It's because there's a single path to victory with each
spirit. Or it's a very limited scope to victory. And there's in a game like that where I really want to explore, and like this, I want to explore. That play style is not there, and it just seems like, I know people are like, well, that's not the game. I'm like, I get it, but.
So
again, a legacy game I want to explore.
To walk you through the first episode a little bit. I don't want to do any spoilers here, but so basically you're landing on the island and you have to set up the welcome center, you have to set up the lab, and you have to do the puzzles that are the lab and the welcome center, which I like the idea of the puzzles. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, each movement, if you want to move 2 squares, that's an action. If you want to rearrange the puzzle one thing, that's an action. Mm-hmm. In a 4-player game, you get 2 actions per turn, which is not my favorite already, but the real killer is you get 5 turns. At the end of 5 turns, the game is over, and if you have not finished it, you lose.
And and a lot of that could be solved by action economy. Like, if all the player, depending if you shift to the action economy more, depending on player count, like whatever would give you a like kind of a zone for success,
right?
That that has some room for some failure. Because we made one mistake at the beginning of the game. I'm like, oh, I guess that just ruined it.
But what's funny is that's not even why we lost.
That's not even why we lost. But it felt like it was one of the things contributing to it, and it was like, well, that seemed like not very thematic. And that was my biggest... we were talking about it as we played, and we came into it, unfortunately, because we knew a lot of people were already hating on this game.
Yeah.
And we came into it, and I was like, I'm going to try to be very open-minded, but we're playing it, and my biggest complaint was there's just... In that first scenario, anyways, the theme made no sense for the introduction of the game. Again, I don't want to go into spoilers, but how it's introduced to you, what you're doing, does not make sense from the perspective of the characters you're supposed to be playing.
That's fair.
It makes... And I can't get past that. It was such a strange choice.
Yeah, I've heard that at 2 players it plays better, because then at 2 players you each get 4 actions.
Right.
So the biggest problem with the action economy is that because it takes an action to move, you're essentially doing 1 thing a turn. Whereas at 2 players, if you have 4 actions, you can do 3 things a turn and then 1 movement. It doesn't scale well at all.
Yeah, and it's still,
so we're going to play it 2-player, and we might come back and and eat our words.
Yeah.
But the action economy is absolutely broken, in my opinion. I'm not going to mince words on it. I think it is fundamentally flawed.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm more than willing to say that we were wrong. We'll push through and play more of this.
I spent $120, and I'm playing the game one way or the other.
Yeah, we'll play it. And I almost don't want to spend a lot of time on the rest of it.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. So that was the gameplay. That's really the problem with our review for this. So it's a very low reviewed game for us, based solely on the gameplay. So just doing quick hits. Accessibility, it was super easy to learn and get into.
Yeah.
Everything was intuitive.
Yeah.
You have your action card.
Except
it's
for
not hard
for the strategy. I don't get what they want you to do with the strategy. But.
I still don't either, so we can't speak to that. But I mean, it's an accessible game. If you want to try a legacy game and you like Pandemic and Spirit Island and you want to play at a lower player count, this one you're going to be able to hop into easily.
I would wait on this one, honestly, even if you are interested in it at this point.
They might do errata.
They might do errata. The price might come down significantly.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'll give you that. But
there are much better. I'm just saying, if you want,
it is an accessible legacy game though. So there's
So
design. Not a huge fan of the board design. It's utilitarian. Is the best I can say about it.
It's overly efficient. It's without a lot of flair on the board at all.
The minis they're nice quality sculpts, but I'm not a huge fan of the style, but I can't really ding it for that because that's purely aesthetic. They did a good job with their vision of the minis, I will say.
And we'll talk about this even if we turn around and like the game at some point. I hated the Kickstarter minis that you got. Oh God,
yeah. So here, I'll show you the Kickstarter minis. So we found this problem with Mythic Mischief as well.
It's like this certain types of like the resin of the plastic they're using.
Clear resin just doesn't work for miniatures. It works great when you're holding them like this. Set them on the table, they're blobs.
Once in a while, if you want like a true ghost thing, like I've seen it sometimes Wizards have had in the past with things where they've done slightly clear, but it's limited. Yeah. Overall, you lose detail, and then I'm looking at your mini. I'm like, that doesn't look like anything on the board.
We didn't actually play with the
terrible
with the Kickstarter minis,
which is a shame.
So design, quality.
I can't speak to that yet.
The only thing I can say is that the cardboard pieces are very flimsy, but I think that's because it's a legacy game and they're intending you to throw them away. Yeah. But we haven't played enough of it to be sure about that, so I'm going to hold my bets on that. And then value. It's $120 is a steep for a legacy game. I think I'm paying mostly for that Jurassic World tag, to be honest with you.
Yeah, honestly, we'll play through it.
Yeah, but my guts tells me $120 is too much for this game.
Yeah, I think it's like
$80
max is what I think the value of this game. But we'll see. Yeah. So we will, again, like as you put it, we'll eat our words, but
yeah. So I'm not going to put a number value on this right now. I don't think it's entirely fair to do that. There's plenty of other reviewers out there that have put number values on it that I will say after playing it, I don't find as egregiously offensive as I did when I first saw them.
I don't disagree with them yet. I don't
agree with them yet. We're not...
Like I said to you, it's technically a game. Yeah. So I won't score something that is technically a
It's game. Not a 2 or a 3.
It's not a 2 or 3 yet. I'll see if something really ticks me off.
When I first saw some of the reviews, I'm like, it can't be that low. And I've played it now, and I'm like,
maybe.
I don't necessarily agree with you still, but I no longer think you're just being a jerk.
No, it's. I think it could be. Yeah. It could get as right now. It's technically a game.
I wanted to like the game. I really did, and not just because of the money I put into it. I was very excited. I backed it very quickly.
You and a lot of other people. And we don't want to beat this one up too much, but it showed well and it had a great packaging at PAX U.
I will say the Kickstarter sleeve
is fun.
Is gorgeous in my opinion. I love the crate. I love that it does come with a cool little raptor claw.
Yeah,
I don't know what it does because it hasn't come up yet.
Yeah,
it told me to take it out of the box for the first scenario.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
So yeah, all I will say about it right now in terms of review is steer clear for now.
Yeah, I would wait, and by Christmas it might be like $60 or something.
Yeah. Yep. So unfortunate, but not every game is going to be a hit. Not every Kickstarter is going to be a win. So yeah.
That's what we're here for. So if you like this, if you have questions about the game specifically, go ahead and add them right there in the comment section. We'll get back to all of those.
Yep.
We'll do a follow-up discussion on this one. I'm sure either that either in tiers or
you know what I might want to do with this one?
What?
I might want to record all of our plays of this.
Yeah, and there might be some spoilers there, but that's
but I mean, there's going to be spoilers in playthroughs. So let us know if you want to see us play through this game. We'll totally do it.
So that is the Legacy of Isla Nublar, our first reactions. Hopefully that was helpful. If you'd like to see more content like this, go ahead and like, subscribe. With that, we wish you good luck with all of your future board game adventures.
And thank you for joining us on ours.